Hello and welcome along to another episode of our Rebuilding Scandinavia story with me, Daniel. It's part 13 of our second stint here at Viborg, and we have got the final two games in the league before the winter break in the Danish Superliga. It is getting very tense and condensed in the middle of the Danish table. You can see the top four are running away with the fairies, but three mid-table plodders, including us, and next to us, a disappointing Midtjylland, are separated by just 1 point. Two of us will make the top half split. Two of us will be battling relegation. If you want to find out which one we end up in and how we head into the winter break as we've got lowly opposition from the second tier in the cup, then please do put a thumbs up on the video and subscribe down below for daily FM22 content. It's the weekend, which means tomorrow we'll be back with the second part of our consistency experiment and another brand new top three as well. You can also see the recent Hemel episodes, including yesterday's dramatic one, up in the eye above. The Twitch channel and football podcast there for regular content, and there's much more down in the description below too, including a new blog/website, which we've got set up for the very first time. So please do give that a try if you haven't already. You can support the show as a channel member by clicking the join button down below. But we have got a lot to focus on with Viborg, because you can see from the top right of the screen, we've just edged back into form. It's not been pretty, it's not been convincing, and let's be honest, it's been damn right luck, but we've managed to sneak some victories, and all of them have been by the odd goal virtually. So let's have a look at the schedule. It has been 2-0, 2-1, 2-1 since you were with me. We played all the top sides, we got them out the way, and now we're doing alright against the rest, which perhaps is what we were doing earlier in the season. The difference is those 2-2s have turned into 2-1s, which makes a big difference. So Aab were our opponents in the cup. We got goals from Jensen, the centre-half, who just had a wonderful game there. Beck picked up a knock, but we had Karstrup coming back, so it wasn't a big issue. Against Midtjylland, it looked like we were going to lose for ages. We were level for an hour. There'd been no shot on target. Lind scored with the first one for Midtjylland, and then in the final 10 minutes, I threw on Blaham, I threw on Thorsen. We had Rothman playing off the left wing, and it worked. It really worked. Rothman and Bonda got a goal apiece. That's the best heroics Bonda's produced in this save. A 2-1 victory, a much needed one. You can see how close we are now as a result. And then away against Silkeborg, we started atrociously, but Joachim Rothman back with a brace before the break, and that got us back in good form. So Aab and Odense at home today, winnable games on paper. A two-legged tie against the second tier team in the cup quarter-final, winnable games on paper. If we can go into the break with 7 wins in a row, or 7 games unbeaten at least, that will be one hell of an effort, especially when we start after the break against 2 bottom half teams. So I'm getting optimistic that we're back in form, that we're starting to find some consistency. We've also got some good news on the squad and some bad news as well. We're struggling to get new deals to a few players. Carter, Beck, Bonda wanting big money for the ability they've got. No loans possible to extend at the minute either, though Toxvard's back from injury and a few have chosen to extend. And Yemby has gone another year, Vitt has gone another year, Karstrup has signed a big new deal, and also Behrens and Carlson have added a year. Carlson actually taking a pay freeze despite our promotion, so big props to him. What we're going to do though is get straight into the football, because that is the important bit for us at the moment. I don't think we've had a youth intake preview yet. Let me just double check in case. Oh dear. I'm not sure if that's come through officially yet, but I think we can ignore that. We're going to be going to Lingby to nick youngsters again. So let's get back to the inbox, see how the dynamics are looking. They're improving. So through to the first game we go. A home to Aab, a big opportunity. Midtjylland drew 2-2 with Silkeborg, so we can go above them with a win. And in Nordsjælland via Dench, you'd expect them to get 3 points, so we've got to go and do the same. Let's get through the tactical meeting. Let's see what squad we can put out today. We'll be back in a minute to run through it. Well, a couple of players just missing out on the squad today, and Yemby not quite back to fitness, and Thorsen struggling for some particular reason. McKellen Bernston also outside the squad. The 11 we've gone for is very settled. Beck comes back in after fatigue for Karstrup, who was the worst player in the last game. The rest of it is settled now. Carter still covering at right back. Jensen at centre-half has to get a mention. He's been so good. He's improving a lot, and he's become our best player. We worried about spending all of our budget on him at 300 grand. It was worth it. I'm just deciding whether I do the same with Londvik in January, because it's the only weak area of the team. Our 11 in forward for this one is Morten Behrens in goal. We've got Carter and Lauritzen the fullbacks, with Jensen and Carlson as centre-half. In midfield is Witt, Harbo and Bonda as the three, with Palmer, Beck returning and Joachim Rothman the front three. Toxvar back on the bench after ages out injured. He could be really big for the second half of the season. Let's get into the game. A big one at home. Can we get 3 points? Can we make it 4 in a row? Let's go and find out. 3 changes for AAB and no Scott Arfield in the starting lineup, who caused us heartbreak last time. Let's see who else they've got in there. No one particularly familiar other than Lucas Anderson, the skipper, and Preker up front as well. There are a few good players. So they're in the bottom half. We would expect to get a result against them. Whether we can get the win or not, I don't know. And to be fair, based on what I said at the start of the season and what I thought with the squad we've had, albeit with a few injuries, I'd probably be disappointed if we don't make the top 6. I know it probably is for the better of the save, but I feel like we should be 5th or 6th. Depending on how many get into Europe this year, maybe the Cup's our best chance, because we're not getting into that top 4 as Rothman works his way forward. And don't forget, when we're in that top 6, if we get there, as Palmer puts us a step closer, if we're playing those top 5 every week, we're going to pick up very few points. But for now, we can just enjoy trying to get there. And David Palmer, been a little bit patchy this season, both in fitness and in form, has turned up with a big goal. We've had the better start of the 2. Now, can we put the game to bed? Because we've seen 2 hasn't always been enough this year. 1 certainly won't be. And there is the problem as the half-time whistle goes. David Palmer has now picked up a tight hamstring and the backup right winger is not on the bench due to fitness issues. Every single time. Do I bring on Karstrup or Blaham? I think Karstrup means we don't have to switch shape quite so much. We can play him or Beck as a traditional right winger. I'm going to do it with Karstrup because he's 2-footed. Makes it a little bit more comfortable. We're getting towards a very familiar pattern here at the hour mark. AAB have only had a couple of shots. We've been the dominant force, but we've not put the game to bed. And now we're starting to get fatigue. So Harbo is struggling in the middle. Toxvard will make his long-awaited comeback. Beck will be replaced by Blaham with Rothman going out to the left wing. I'm going to bring on Gröning for Witt because he's still chasing that appearance record, even though Beck will probably pass it after. And we'll leave the last one 5 more minutes because if we can time waste near the end, then great. If we can avoid going down to 10 with an injury, even better. Right, about 7 minutes left. We're seeing this out okay at the minute, but I just want to be sure. So Bonda off for Tramberg. He goes into the holding role and we'll have Jeppe Gröning into the box-to-box. He's a very experienced pro, so we know what to expect. With 7 left, they're just starting to create chances. And here they are on the front foot as Carlson intercepts. Heavy touch, but gets it to Carter. It's chipped forward towards Blaham, who brings it down for Gröning. It's developing really well up front there with football, as Gröning comes down the left, more at the other end of his career. Goes back to Lauritzen, another man in that category, and back to Tramberg, the summer signing. Finds Jensen at the back, who's been a Rolls Royce today. He's forced backwards there though to Carlson, eventually into Gröning again. He's got space to run into, no one's with him. Goes to the left side of the box, he's forced wide, gets it into Rothman. Where's the penalty kick? Doesn't matter. Great advantage, referee. I never doubted you. Toxvard on his return shows just what we've been missing. Blaham, gotta get some credit there. Really composed. He's a centre forward. He could have just hit it. He laid it off. He was unselfish. And he's got us the 2-0 win. A clean sheet is more exciting than anything else at this moment. They're the only team we've managed one against in the last 2 or 3 months. We've managed 2 of them as well, which is great news. So good work from everyone. Not the most exciting game, but an efficient performance, a job well done, and some really good moments towards the end there too. Let me show you Blaham quickly because he's developing his finishing. Physically, he's becoming a monster. He's only 18. That kid's going to be special. We picked him up very early. We're developing him really well. So let's get through to the second game, our last League One before the winter break. And if we can get a win in that one, we should be cemented in 5th and have a really good chance of securing a top half spot. Fitness test time, and we couldn't be getting too comfortable, could we? Victor Tramberg picks up an injury, and even worse, a struggling Odense have sacked their manager. So we're going to face a new manager bounce today. They're normally a much better side than their 9 points would show this season. But we're in 6th place, we're in that top half, and we can cement that place with a win today. And if Midtjylland start to struggle like that, could make the rest a lot easier. The top 4 still winning though, so they're out of sight. Let's see what we can do. This is a game we should win, but the new manager bounce makes it tough. And Vejel, what an effort they've put in at Randers, by the way. Let's get through to the lineups then, see who's fit for this one. So a few changes to the squad as Anyembi comes back onto the bench, Thorson the same, and of course there's some missing out. But I do want to keep the settled 11 where possible. Carter's done well at right back, and Yembi picks up knock every time he comes back, so let's just slow them down. Toxvard the same off the bench, he played 60 minutes for the reserve team in midweek. We're building them up, we've got cup games next week. We can start to get them to full fitness. So from the last game, there is no change to the 11. David Palmer has made it, so it's just the subs that are different. Let's get into the second game. Can we make it back-to-back wins? Can we make it 5 in a row in the league and head into the winter break in style? Well, interim manager Ivan Paulsen puts his side out today. Let's see what difference a managerial change can make, because they have been in freefall for a number of weeks. We've got our full of strength 11 available, so we've not really got any excuses. If we come up against trouble, we'll know what's caused it. Just 6 minutes on the clock and we're back on the left-hand side with a throw-in. Big pitch at home does seem to make a difference for us. We perform a little better as Harbo puts in Palmer. Room for him to get in behind. That one's saved though by the keeper. A very experienced man. We know he's a good one. He's out for a corner kick, which Larridson will take. Can we get the centre-halves at the back post? Jensen up, Carlson up. Neither of them get there. It's out as far as Tobias Beck. Can we recycle it and keep the pressure on? It's been a good couple of minutes. Beck cuts inside. Through ball towards Palmer. Just intercepted. Stays 0-0. But we've been by far the better in the early stages. And after that, it's gone very quiet for 20 minutes. We're almost at half an hour here. We've dominated the stats. But we need the goal. As Harbo's released by Palmer. It's a lovely ball. Might be the chance. It's a terrible, terrible finish. And Harbo's not normally like that. He's the sort of one that will normally aim high for the corners, and if he misses, it's past the post. Not straight at the keeper with a feeble effort. 12 shots, 6 on target, 1.5 expected goals. 0-0. One of those days at the office. The new manager luck, that little resilient bit of defending, seems to be making a difference. As we go straight from the kickoff in the second half, can this be the moment? Catch them out when they're still recovering after the break. Carlson brings it forward. Forced back to Jensen in the end. Got space to run into, onto halfway for Bonda, through ball towards Rothman, he's in one-on-one, forced a little wide, there's 3 in the middle, Harbo's one, heads over the bar, good chance, another half one, but it goes begging, it remains goalless. Right, we've gone positive, we've gone front-footed, we've encouraged the lads, it has made no difference so far, so after this highlight, the changes come on with 25 left, although Rothman picks the ball up now, he drifts left, got support inside from Tobias Beck, who's had a poor game, tries to play a 1-2, that's pathetic. He's going to be the first off, looking at his match rating, and looking at that moment there, as Van Hayden puts it long downfield for Odense. They're clearing it, but not really with any intent of getting forward, as Harbo goes wide to Palmer. Takes on his fullback. Can he beat him to the byline? He does. Crosses in low. Good clearance. It's away as far as Jabali. He holds the ball up. Finds Svensson. Good interception from Carter, who's in from right back. To Beck. Through ball to Palmer. Beck's about to come off. But he's made a hell of a difference there. That's a wonderful through ball. And did I see that right? Palmer's second goal of the year. Had he not scored before this episode? What a time to turn up, son. You are looking fantastic there. Tobias Beck will come off. In fact, all of that front four can. Because we know which players are tired and we know which ones aren't performing. So Blaham, you come on. Maybe for Rothman or not yet. We'll leave it 5. Karstrup on the left. Thorson on the right. Harbo replaced by Toxvard and Yembi on for Carter. A few of these are actually strengthening the team. And then it's Grunin or Blaham late on. Do I not bring on the man chasing the appearance record? I've got to do what's best for the team. But with 15 left, we get a second, he can come on then. As Karstrup holds the ball up for Bonda. Through to Karstrup again off the left. Great run from Toxvard. Off the bench last game to score. That one straight at the keeper though. Couldn't repeat his antics. And the keeper will go long downfield. Do not give away a silly goal. It's flicked on, but there's no support up there. It's basically coming straight back at them every single time. Behrens brings it out of the box to Larridson. Time in the middle to Bonda. Back to Jensen. Witz in support, but goes short to Carlson. He goes wide to Larridson. Just short with the pass there. We don't want to get complacent. Big switch to Thorson though. He's got a chance in behind. Plays in Jurchim Rothman. That's the one. Witt will be replaced by Grunin, who continues his charge towards the record. And we're going to get another 3 points. Another 2 goals on the board. And finally, we get what we deserve. As we're back with just over 7 minutes to go, Odense have the ball at the back, but they're going nowhere with it. They switch it wide, and they've actually got support here, up to Hilgard and wide to Erstrom. Down to the byline he goes, but he's forced backwards in the end to Svensson. And Thomason over the top towards Broom. Good ball on the left-hand side. Chance to cut back. Great work from Toxvard, but doesn't do enough. And the shot's in from Åkesson. 2-1. 6 minutes remaining. And again, we concede the goal. It's our favourite scoreline at the moment. Oh, focus, lads. I know you're not going to be happy, but focus. 5 minutes of stoppage time. We don't really look in danger. I'll whisper it quietly. We get through it without any problems. It is a 2-1 victory for Viborg. Another one that should have been won by more goals. What a performance, though. We just haven't got that cutting edge at the minute. Regardless, we pick up another win. We head into the cup game in great form against lower league opposition. And we're also going into the winter break comfortable, which means in January, we're going to be a much more attractive proposition. There is some issue with that, as we move back to 5th place with 1 clear of Norgeland, 4 clear of Midtjylland. Don't know what's happened to them this year. But we have got to worry about the finances. We've lost 300 grand in recent weeks. We've added a lot of players to new contracts. We've got 4 or 5 days before the cup now, so hopefully a few of the younger players can come back in and a few of those returning to fitness can get a start. But that was an absolutely super display. It's been a really good month. And we've not done it the brilliantly exciting way. We've not done it in the most ruthless fashion. But 2-0s and 2-1s, they do the job. So we go into the break. We've beaten the sides in that bottom half. And we've got 2 more in that category after the winter break. If we win them, we should make the top half split. So we are going to come back after the quarter-final, after the January transfer window. If it's exciting, I'll show you deadline date depending on what's happening. If not, it will be those first 2 games back. But either way, it's going to be a great end to the season. We're finally producing what I expected. And actually, if we look at it, we're just being consistent. We're struggling against the top half teams. All of those 5 defeats are the other sides in the top 6, aren't they? I didn't put that together. Those 5 defeats in a row are the other sides in the top 6. It bodes awfully for when the league splits. But against the bottom half teams, we've been faultless. If you did enjoy the episode though, a brilliant display, then please do put a thumbs up on it and subscribe down below for daily FM22 content. Double header time tomorrow, as well as a new Twitch stream as well. You can find all those links up in the eye above. Do keep your eyes on the podcast channel too, as we're back with weekly predictions for the championship season. And there's also links down in the description to the new website/blog, as well as plenty of other things and my socials too. But thank you as always for your incredible support. The top 3 playlist is above my head now. Do give it a try. And I'll see you here again on Tuesday for what might be the return of Justin Lundvik. I'll see you there to find out.